Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the GC Show. I hope y'all are doing absolutely amazing. And this is the first episode of the GC Show in 2025. It's crazy that we finally made it to 2025. I hope y'all's New Year's resolutions are going great. Mine are not. I think part of the reason of that is because I've not made any New Year's resolutions yet, but I still got time, so maybe I'll get around to doing it. But the lesson for today, we're talking about how there's something good in everybody. We hear it all the time, maybe we say it, whatever, but do we really believe that? Do we really believe that there's something good in everybody? We go to school, we go to work, we just go out in public in the community, and we see so many different people, and we know many different people, and we may view them a certain way that may not be the same way that God views them. Or maybe you view yourself differently than how God views you. Maybe you look at people for their flaws and not for the way that God views them as, a person made in his image. So, maybe we view people differently than how God views them and maybe not view them for the good aspects of them. So our verse today, it comes from Genesis. It's Genesis 1:27. And it says, "So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them." That's a whole nother lesson, by the way. Skipping down to verse 31, it says, "Then God looked over all he had made, and he saw it was very good." So a little side note before we get going. So God talks about, that we are made good. And at this time, whenever we were made, or when humans were made, when Adam and Eve were made, um, they were perfect. So at this time, good and perfect essentially meant the same thing. But obviously, when people sinned, no longer humans are perfect. So does that make us not good anymore? Yes and no. We're not perfect. We're not good in the sense that we're perfect anymore. That's why we need Jesus to, cover our sins, and He did that for you. You just got to accept that. But you know, God created us in his image, and everything created in God's image is good. So that is what makes us good. There's something, good in everyone, whether that's like way deep down or if it's at the surface, like of you. There's something good in everyone. There's something good in you. I hope that made sense. That, in this sense, in Genesis, it's talking about good is like humans are perfect. Maybe I shouldn't even brought that up. Maybe that maybe confuse you even more. But ultimately, if we're made in God's image, we are good. So there's something good in everyone because everyone was created in God's image. So there's something good. There's something good in everyone. There's good in humans, whether that is at the surface and portrayed every single day to other people, or if that's way deep down and maybe drowned out by some other bad things that are in someone. So for everyone that's different. Everyone's good part about them is different. Something that's good about everyone is different. There's something different and amazing in you than anyone else on this entire earth. You have something special that God has given you, that God has put inside you. There's something special about you that is different than anyone else on this earth. And that's what makes like humanity so cool, is that we're all so different, and God uses us for so many different things, so many different good things for his glory, that he has so many different things for everyone. So, think about someone that maybe you don't like. Maybe it's someone at school, maybe it's a coworker, whatever. You know, they have something good about them. Even in the most annoying people or people we cannot stand, there is something good in that person, and it may be hard to think of what that good thing is. There's someone in this world that, likes something about that person, even if, you can't stand them or they're super annoying. So just like, I want you to think about, like, there is something good in that person, meaning there's something good in everyone. And for you, maybe, I know, maybe if you think like there's nothing good in you, or, you don't know what that good thing is in you, I want you to like ask someone like, what's something you like about me? What's something you think is good about me? And ultimately like ask God like, God, what do you think is good about me? And obviously we can't make like we can't necessarily like make judgments on God's behalf. But I mean, God will reveal to us what like good part is about us, and like I don't know what we were made to do on this earth, like what that good part is about us. So, there's somebody in your life, of course, that maybe you don't like. And in that person, maybe you look at them for their flaws or the negative parts about them. But ultimately, if they're creating God's image, there's something good about them, right? So, what if instead of looking at people for their flaws, the way that humans look at them, what if we viewed people the way that God views people, which is, that humans were made in his image? If we view people the way that God views them, that they're amazing and good, think about how different our world could be if we viewed people that way rather than by their flaws or just by the ways that we don't like them. View people with like a God-centered viewpoint and not a human-centered viewpoint, and our world would look so much different. And ultimately, everyone has a story, right? Everyone has something awesome about them, and maybe you don't know that. Um, everyone has something cool. Everyone has something cool about them. So, I'll just encourage you to just ask people about that. What's like your favorite part of you, I guess. And usually when people tell you about their favorite part of you, especially like, I don't know if it's just like a stranger or someone, they'll tell you like something amazing and they're so excited to tell you that. And it's never usually something bad that they tell you, usually it's something good. So you have to think about that. Like when people are telling their story, they're going to tell good parts about them, meaning that there is good in everybody in this world. So, and you have something awesome about you. And maybe if you don't know what that is, what that God given gift is that you have, I would just encourage you to pray about it. God will reveal it to you, whatever it may be, even if it's, takes a long time or if it comes right away. Like God will reveal it to you eventually because you have something amazing in you. You have an amazing gift that God has given you, whether it's been revealed to you or not. And ultimately, God created you in his image. He knit you together the way that he wanted you to be, and he has an ultimate plan for you. He has something amazing planned for you. You just have to follow it. And I think a big thing that, people miss out on in their life and why, some people aren't like viewed as good or whatever is because, when God knit us together, he has an amazing plan for everyone, right? And, some people just decide not to follow that. They decide to go off their own path and maybe their plan definitely, if they go off and do their own thing, would not line up with what God has planned for them. But if you follow what God has for you, follow the plan that God has put for your life, you know, it will always be good and always be so much better than you can ever imagine. That plan that God has for you is just so, so good. And that is, the good that we have. It comes from God. But, you just have to follow that plan, and it may be confusing. You may say, like, God, this doesn't make sense, but, God can do so much better things than we can ever imagine. And he uses those that maybe aren't the most equipped to do good things in this world. So, maybe on the other hand, maybe you feel like there isn't something super special about you, that you're just like an average person, or maybe to the extreme, you feel like you're worthless. I feel like, or you have like no purpose. I feel like we all go through this point at some point, or go through this thought process at some point. And I'm here to tell you, like, that thought is straight from the devil. Like, God has something amazing for you. He has an amazing plan. He has something good planned for your life. You just got to follow it. I'm here to tell you that, you're here for a reason. God didn't wake you up today for no reason. He has a wonderful plan for you. And, if you fulfilled your purpose, you wouldn't be here today. So the fact that you're here today, God has an amazing purpose for you. He has something good planned for your life. And, even if that good part of you is like way deep down, God will use that. He'll use that good part of you to do amazing things in this world. You just have to follow his plan and trust in him and know that, with God, anything is possible, and that, through him, you can get it done. So that is about it. That is about the lesson for today. There's something amazing in everyone. There's something good in everybody. Whether you know what that is or you don't, there is something good in you. And if you don't, I would encourage you to just pray about it because, of course, you want to fulfill your purpose that God has for you because God's plan is so, so good. So I said this in one of the past episodes. I'll say it again, probably say it a lot of weeks from now on. If you know anyone who may need to hear this lesson or any of the other ones, I'll just encourage you to share it with them, of course. The purpose of this show is to, encourage as many people as we can in a God-centered fashion. And, the ultimate goal is obviously just to bring as many people with us to heaven as we can. So, I would just encourage you, if you would want to share this episode or any of the other ones with other people so that they can hear God's centered lesson. So, for the first episode of 2025, that is all I have for today. I found a new thing on YouTube where, if you click, I forget which side it's on, you can click on a video. Again, I don't know which side it's on. It's whatever YouTube thinks is the best for you. So whatever that video pops up, if you would want to watch that, I would encourage it. But that is all I have for today for the first episode of 2025. So I will see you guys next week. Be great today and praise God.